Yeah, I mean, just to quickly add on that, I mean, two parts to it. You've got the first thing, you've got like people sort of sending like racial messages to like black footballers on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. So I think the first thing that we need to have is like a verification sort of policy on social media where like instead of getting like a blue tick or a white tick like celebrities get, we should just get like, maybe a green tick or something just that every account is like verified because anyone can hide behind, a photo of like I don't know, any footballer or something, or just like
That's true.
nothing, and then just send hate like anywhere, and you'll never find who that person is.
I agree with you completely. And I think it should be like, because of social media now, how anyone can make an account in minutes, basically. I feel like Harry Maguire brought up a good point when Pogba was racially abused, like last season against Wolves, for missing a penalty of all things. Again, we drew, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world to be racially abused, and you should never be racially abused for playing the game that you love. He made a good point. I remember that they should have ID via like passports or something. Put
Yeah.
your passport number on your social media accounts. So you end up getting tracked by the police in the right way, and you get rather suspended or fined or something like that, or your parents get
Or
fined.
even like you should be taught like educationally, like maybe some people just
That
need,
should be
just
that should be a standard in the curriculum from now on.
I agree with education. Obviously, schools have got to be doing something, and you've got to be teaching these young kids on what to say and what not to say, and what's bad and what's good. And if they learn that from a young age, they'll never repeat this on social media or even to anybody. So the biggest thing is education, and like there's some people as well, like older people, they need education as well. And all it takes is just like a simple Google search to find out what certain things mean and what certain things you shouldn't say. It's just education for everybody.
I don't want it to happen in terms of like to kids growing up playing football nowadays. I'd hate for it to happen to like my cousins or other family members like growing up saying, I don't want to play football anymore because I feel isolated or I feel left out because of the color of my skin or my ethnicity or my religion. That would just be the worst thing to hear.
So in football, it's only the people at the top. So the FA, the commissioners, whoever they are, only these people can eradicate racism. Now, looking at racism in football, like we've already mentioned, the Millwall game, people taking a knee, but they're booing. That's disgusting, sickening. I'll be honest. Like, them fans shouldn't even deserve to come to a live game ever again. I personally think if someone's racist in a football game, they should be fined, minimum 5 figures, yeah, and then life ban, and put on some sort of record as a racist person, because there's no sympathy towards a racist person, because why are you diminishing or saying discriminatory things towards a different color or a different race is not acceptable on any level. Zero tolerance. So I think it's definitely the higher board, the commissioners, they have to do something about it. No player should feel like this, and that's what I'm saying. It has to be from the top down, not bottom up. We can give all the education to the lower people, but it needs to be instilled. It needs to be in the roots, embedded, that none of this stuff is accepted. And if you do, you're going to have to pay the consequences, a fine and a life ban, and you're put on some sort of, record. Look at the example with Anton Ferdinand and John Terry.
Yeah. Done a documentary about it, 9 years later, because of how it affected his mental health.
It's a full-on documentary. Like you said, it's a full-on documentary. And obviously, whatever was said, if John Terry is in the wrong, he should be penalized. It doesn't matter if he's a footballer, he should be penalized. Whatever happens, he should be penalized. And I don't think much happened to him. If he's racist, he's a racist. I don't care.
The thing with JT was the surprising part was for somebody like, sort of like professional footballer as well to have sort of racially abused, Ferdinand, like it's unbelievable to be honest. But it's one of them again, like because he did get cleared by sort of like a court of law is what, and that was a statement that came out from his party. saying that he was cleared and they don't want to reopen. But it would be interesting to see, you know, if where the case would have like really gone. Like, you know, I'm all for seeing like justice, you know, coming from that.
I think it's probably just the anger and frustration building up for me. I think a lot of examples you guys have mentioned, and I think no footballer should be made to feel that way. Obviously, everyone plays football for the love of the game and for enjoyment. I think we're pretty much the same. I'm not comparing this to professional footballers, but we go to play football on a Friday night or whenever we go to just enjoy the game. You meet your friends, you play against opposition. Don't get me wrong, it does get dirty in terms of tackles and you have banter and it gets heated, but I don't think you should ever resort to that level of abuse. And I just think it's something that shouldn't be acceptable. And I think I agree with Salim. It's something that should be, and Saf, sorry, it's something that should come from the top down to the bottom. I think the issue we're having now is obviously everyone at the bottom. So like, obviously there's quite a majority of the fans who are obviously setting up campaigns, and same with the football clubs as well. But I think it's not until someone is really badly punished for it. And like, I think if you see a regular occurrence, when this does happen, if you see a regular occurrence of fans being banned and being basically named and shamed, which should be the way. I think a lot of the times, don't get me wrong, I come across posts on Twitter where like someone on Twitter with literally their own name and their profile picture have like racially abused a player, and people have been pretty much quick on Twitter to search for them on Facebook, find out where they work, and they're ringing up their workplace and reporting to it. But that should be a normal thing for someone like Twitter or other social media platforms. As soon as you see someone be racist, like you said, if, for example, now if you had the ID validation on Twitter where you see their passport photo with a driving license, Twitter will automatically see that violent abuse. They'll obviously find out which person it is, and they will get in touch with the authorities to get that sorted. And I think that's probably what's not being done from the top, and that's what I think why the issue would always be there, which is pretty sad to say, and it frustrates me as well.
The fact that we've been at FNF for how long, and I've been there for what, a year. There've been heated moments, and people listening from our football group will know there've been heated moments, and they'll know who's been involved. But it's never stooped to racism, which I love. It's always been cleared off rather the next day or the day after, and there's been apologies here, left, right, centre, which has been perfectly fine. And it's just one of those things that I feel like it will have to be something drastic to change the mentality of English fans, because they were quick to judge those Bulgarian fans that are racist to England players in Bulgaria. Back home, they're equally as racist, which makes no sense to me. I just want to say the fact that like 5 British Asian men are talking about it on the podcast, goes out to the public, is a bit more refreshing than hearing it from other people that you hear it from all the time, like on Sky Sports, the presenters and the news and stuff that you hear it. And the fact that if anyone else, again, is from the same ethnic minority as us, gets a bit of a kick out of this and they can learn a bit of one or two different things, that would be quite nice as well, because these are our genuine thoughts and we haven't discussed this prior, so it's quite nice to hear all of your thoughts. So thank you very much for that.